Madam Speaker, yesterday the American people shared and participated in a historic moment, the inauguration of Barack Obama as the 44th President of the United States. What the American people witnessed yesterday would not have been possible without the leadership and the vision of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. The teaching and philosophy that Dr. King believed in and lived by brought us to this moment in history. Without Martin Luther King, Jr., there would be no President Barack Obama. Martin Luther King, Jr. was a man I knew personally and regarded as a brother, a friend, a colleague, a prophet, my hero, and just a simple human being filled with love, peace, and compassion for all humankind. I will never forget my first impression of him. As a black child growing up in the heart of rural Alabama, I had tasted the bitter fruits of segregation and racial discrimination, and I didn't like it. I saw those signs that said white men, colored men, white women, colored women, white waiting, colored waiting. I used to ask my parents, my grandparents, and my great-grandparents, why segregation, why racial discrimination? And they would say, that's the way it is. Don't get in trouble. Don't get in the way. But one day when I was only 15 years old, I heard the voice of Martin Luther King, Jr. on the old radio. He was talking about the discipline and the philosophy of nonviolence. He was talking about the Montgomery bus boycott and the ability of a committed and determined people to make a difference in our society. I felt like he was talking directly to me, saying, John Lewis, you too can make a difference in our society. In 1958, at the age of 18, I traveled from Troy to Montgomery to meet with him and Reverend Ralph Abernathy, and that was the beginning of a long and beautiful relationship. After that, our paths were to cross often. In the sit-ins, during the Freedom Rides in 1961, the year that Barack Obama was born. As a board member of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, his organization, organizing the 1963 March on Washington, and in Mississippi during the summer of 1964. In the march from Selma to Montgomery in 1965, at the Riverside Church in New York City in 1967, Mr. Chairman, when he spoke out against the war in Vietnam. In the preparation for his ultimate quest, the Poor People's Campaign in 1968, when he was planning to come to Washington. As I grew to know Dr. King in the life of the movement, my admiration for the man also grew. He was a spokesperson not just for blacks, but for all of those who have been left out and left behind. He spoke to the hearts and conscience of all of us who believe that nonviolence and love offer a more excellent way. This good man, this God-fearing man, gave us hope in a time of hopelessness. This good man, this man of God, this son of America, this citizen of the world, produced light in dark places. Martin Luther King, Jr. had the ability to bring the dirt and the filth from under the American rug, out of the cracks and the corners, into the open light in order for us to deal with it. Martin Luther King, Jr., more than any other American of the 20th century, had the power to bring people together, more people together, to do good. Black and white, rich and poor, young and old, Protestant, Catholic, and Jews. His message was love. His weapon was truth. His method was creative nonviolence. His goal was the beloved community, a community of justice, a community at peace with itself. This man that I marched with, worked with, and went to jail with, this man that I got to know was so sensitive and so caring. He personified the very best of humankind. He was a gentleman who used the teaching of the great teacher and the tools of Gandhi. In a sense, he spoke a strange language, the philosophy of passive resistance to evil, and the use of nonviolence in the struggle for good. I want to close, Madam Speaker, by saying, as we are assembled here, we must understand that his dream has not yet been fulfilled. We have come a distance, but we still have a distance to go before we build a beloved community in America. If Dr. King were here today, I believe he would say that the election of Barack Obama is not an end, it's not even a beginning, it is a significant down payment on making his dream a reality. Thank you, Madam Speaker.